Ta-da! Kayaks. Well, welcome back to TRF, everybody. Goodness, it's windy. Now, many of y'all know I have worked with Bonafide Kayaks for a very long time here on the channel, but when Bonafide and Native Kayaks joined companies, I thought, you know what, forget the whole paddling thing. I wanna have a kayak that I can sit in and pedal with my feet, get around faster, and my Titan X 10.5 back there is crazy stable. It is the most comfortable kayak fishing platform I've ever been in. But as I fished more and more really shallow bodies of water, specifically rivers, I realized I needed a special kayak for the shallow water river creek scenarios. And that is when Bonafide released the Bonafide RVR 119. This is my rigging video of my brand new river kayak. And let me tell y'all, I am pumped for the content we're gonna film in this kayak. But in order to get these kayaks around the country safely on the trailer and soon to be on the top of my brand new roof basket on my truck, I needed to partner with a really good company in terms of just safety and efficiency, and that is where Strappino comes into play. And if you spend time in the outdoors, you need a good quality set of ratchet straps, and Strappino makes some dang good ones. They sent me a few products, including their stainless steel transom straps, which are great for small trailers like john boats and jet skis, all the way up to big bass boats like the one that I have. They also make some really helpful loop straps, which I use almost every time I'm using a ratchet strap. But the 1 inch by 10 foot retractable ratchet strap by Strappino has been ultra helpful to me so far. It easily extends to secure whatever you need to secure. It is built out of a super strong quality material. I mean, this thing is built like a brick, and it auto retracts and rewinds back into itself, making securing this thing super easy. This is my previous ratchet strap I've been using. It gets tied in knots. It's impossible to find the right length. It is not easy to use, unlike the Strappino, which has saved me a bunch of hassle. Like, look at this. I'm gonna strap it right here on one side. It has the handy little clip here to keep it in place. Like I said, it's all self-contained. It auto retracts, one-handed function, and we're strapped in, baby. So big thanks to Strappino for sponsoring this video. I will leave the products that I'm using down in the video description if you want to check them out. But enough talking, let's get these kayaks inside and start rigging our brand new Bonafide RVR. Okay, I lied about kayaks plural. We're just gonna move the RVR in here. That way I have a little more space to do my rigging. Oh my goodness, I'm at the wrong, it's the wrong way. I knew something felt wrong there. There we go, nice. Now a few things, all the water bottles here. We get the whole water, office cooler thing delivered to our house. Twice, they didn't pick up our bottles. I say that, I forgot to put them out. And then they didn't, either, who's to blame? And also, y'all need to know what we're putting on the RVR. So let me stack them up. Bonafide mounting plate for the stern of the boat for all the accessories. 3D printed seat risers because this seat is a little too low for my liking, so we're gonna bring it up, I think, 2 or 3 inches. Anchor wizard because we are not, at least as of now, gonna have the power pull micro anchor on this thing. We're gonna actually have a bow mounted anchor. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm going back to my basics, dropping an anchor. Foot controlled steering for my paddle, you may ask? No, for something I swore I would never get on a kayak, and that is a trolling motor. And that being the Newport NK180 Pro, an awesome trolling motor from an awesome company. Nolan Miner, my buddy from college fishing who does a whole lot of kayak stuff, reached out to them and said, hey, do you want to work with Tyler? And they said absolutely. There was no hesitation, and so I'm super excited to join the Newport family. So that's all we're doing as of now. This thing, of course, has to be powered by a battery. Pro Guide is sending me a lithium specifically for this, but it's not here yet. You'll see when it is. Now, for the sake of even lighting, I'm going to close the garage door and get some water. I'm hot.
We'll be right back.
Oh my goodness, holy cow, we need some, it is so dark in here. I apologize. Now, where do we start? I think we start on the anchor wizard, and then the back plate and the trolling motor and the foot controlled steering, probably sometime in that order. But first things first, I'm gonna get the seat out of here because I don't need it as I'm installing. See ya. Now, my first question about the anchor wizard, besides, I think where I see the 4 holes, I'm supposed to line it up. Get this hat out of here, I can't see. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. Oh my goodness. I don't like rigging kayaks in Texas in July, it's too hot. So once I attach this, how do I get the anchor wizard actual string? Time to YouTube. Like any good YouTuber, I look up things on YouTube. Rigging anchor wizard.
Come up here, we're gonna pop this hatch.
Okay, so it seems like I just feed it through as much as I can, and I take off the front hatch and feed it through. So let's do it. And they give several types of hardware for different riggings of this thing, but I honestly don't see what I need in this package. They gave me that for a reason. Once again, there's nothing more attractive, you can admit it, than somebody bending over rigging a kayak. Why did that not work? Uh-oh, we are in trouble, folks. Oh, the dang screw isn't even long enough. It's not long enough. What kind of hardware do they give me? All right, I'm already due for one Home Depot run, which is, that's the earliest yet. All right, so Anchor Wizard is gonna go on pause. At least the rigging of the thing to the plate, I'm gonna feed through the hole. And I'm also realizing this thing the Anchor Wizard comes with, I don't think is needed because Bonafide built in like a little roller on the front of the kayak. So this thing can go in the trash. For now, we're gonna take the string here. I'm actually gonna pull out as much as I need realistically to feed it. And let's feed that baby through. Oh, come on. There we go. Like we're doing a colonoscopy, baby. Oh yeah, that's the method. How quickly can Tyler lose 4 bolts? All right, got the front plate off. Where's the string? Oh, shoot, it goes all the way here. I'm realizing, like, what's the purpose unscrewing this? It goes, like, the cable is solid all the way through. I've gone as far as it'll let me. Oh, is that it there? I think I've reached the end. How do I grab it, though? Maybe a hook? All right, update. I've taken the top of a coat hanger, almost looks like a shank, and I have rammed it inside of the out part of the hole, and it feels like there was some plastic residue from the build in there, so hopefully we're clean now. I'm gonna wrap the tip of the rope here to feed through tightly with some tape, like an aglet, as Phineas and Ferb taught us.
The end of a shoelace is called the A-G-L-E-T.
All right, let's hope that works. Oh, and it's not sticking out, no. Is that it? That's it. I need the tiniest tweezers known to man. Yes, yes. Oh my gracious. What should be the easiest part is done. Okay, and then all I've got to do is tie a pretty decent knot here to the front of this carabiner and hang our weight. Now we're not gonna hang the anchor yet because that's unnecessary, but step 1 of many done. Next up, looks like we have longer bolts for these 4 right here on the end. And again, that's because I think when you put the trolling motor, the NK180 on the back, it basically eliminates the use of this back handle here. So you got to put this on so you can have handles to hold the back by still. At least I think so. I'm not watching a whole lot of videos. I refuse to watch a video until I get in a bind. And then I'll figure out what I did wrong. Although I am realizing the complexity of all of this now that I get to the back, so I'm just gonna loosely put these in by hand because if I need to take it out, I don't wanna have to have done that much work. All right, I just said I wasn't gonna watch a video. This thing looks complex. Let's go take a seat inside, get a drink of sweet tea and figure this thing out. So from everything, oh gosh, hit myself in the face. So after all the videos I watched on how to rig the new port on a kayak, which by the way, there's way more instructionals on YouTube on how to rig a kayak than there is a bass boat. Kind of surprising, but I'm not gonna lie, definitely helpful. So you're gonna put the base for the trolling motor here on top of, so I'm actually glad I didn't totally screw these down. I gotta take out these 2 bolts here. And I also put a few pieces like this bar, whatever it is, the lifter bar, on the actual trolling motor itself because the guy on the video told me to. But it looks like you just line up these 4 holes and screw them down. I hope it's long enough, just barely. Again, with everything on a boat, just barely torque it down. Well, as I say that, it wasn't fully down. There we go. Okay, needs to go more. All right, good enough. That is strong, we're good. So in order to fit this big bolt here through these last 2 holes, because it looks like this one is already inset drill, whatever it is. It's got the threads on the inside of the kayak. The back one on this handle here does not, and so I need to use a bolt and 2 washers and a nut on the back. Problem is, it doesn't line up perfectly. Like it's almost perfect, but not quite. So I'm gonna get a drill bit and drill out a little bit of the plastic. Whatever size this is. That size? Quarter inch. See if we can fit it better. That is not big enough. A 5/16. Some plastic and some metal. Hey, it works. Bueno. Probably overdoing it, to be honest. But never let them tell you it's a bad thing. And now we've reached the point where we get to put the trolling motor on. Oh, I need more hands. Got it, baby. I don't know what I got, but I got it. we're done. I'm kidding. Now, as I'm burning alive here in my garage trying to get this kayak rigged, I realized, number one, I need a Home Depot trip for several things, and two, I either need a trip to Mariner Sales, which is a kayak and kayak part retailer here in Dallas, or I need to make a quick Amazon Prime overnight order, because there's quite a few parts, especially when it comes to the pulley system on the Newport. I think a lot of these kayak accessory companies, or the kayak main product companies, don't send specific items that you may need for your kayak, because there's a gajillion different kayaks out there, and so they kind of leave it up to you to find out exactly what accessories you need for their specific product. So I've got to make a list, and we'll see you guys, hopefully when it's not as hot, rigging the next part of the kayak. Ooh, spooky. Okay, so 2 weeks have elapsed since I last started filming. It took a while to get all the parts in that I needed. Wanted to make sure I got the right ones, but I think we were finally ready to finish the rigging of this video. We got lots of stuff from Yak Attack. We have a few things from Bonafide, and of course I will have all the parts on the screen as I'm talking about them, because the more kayak builds I've watched, the more I realize I want a build that people can watch that is actually easy to follow. And I'm sorry if this hasn't been up to this point. So what we've done recently off camera here is I took on my Newport engine, I put a pulley here, carabiner with the rope here, and then the rope goes through that one, through that Yak Attack tie down deal right there, through a second one there, and now this rope, again, to pull up and down the engine, is as of right now gonna go past my anchor wizard, which also I mounted, and it's gonna go up here, which if I'm sitting right here, it's gonna be a little bit of a reach down to put a carabiner on the end of this rope here and attach it to that. But I feel like for right now, that's good enough. But like I mentioned earlier in the video, we're gonna put foot controlled steering here on my kayak. Do I need it? Probably not, but I wanna make sure that if I get in a bind and I have to use my hands for something, I can actually control with my feet. So that's the plan. Time to do some screws, start the music. So the foot-controlled steering is now installed on the kayak. The number one problem I had was a pretty seamless process. The biggest problem was I put in one of the grommets on the back here for the cable to go through too early, and that was really hard to feed it through with the grommet already in there. Gosh dang it, why'd I put the grommet in first? But let's show you guys exactly how this works. So we have two cables, one goes to that side, one goes to that side. They are run through the kayak. They go through there, and they come out of the holes right here by the foot controls. And you can adjust these based on this little spool here that you pull out and twist either clockwise or counterclockwise. And I made sure to have them both set to the same exact positioning for the trolling motor being completely straight. That way, if I push this one forward, it turns, that way and that way. Now, in order for the trolling motor to actually go anywhere, you have to put the throttle somewhere for the forward and reverse. Speaking of reverse, I'm not gonna put the reverse pulley cable on this thing. There's a cable on there that when you pull it, it locks it. So when you actually reverse the trolling motor, the motor doesn't fly up. I talked to my buddy Nolan Miner, who works with the Newport. He says he doesn't even use his. And so I'm gonna risk it and say, for the very few times I have to actually reverse this thing, I'm gonna go super slow so the trolling motor doesn't fly up. But the throttle is necessary. And I think I want the throttle to be on my right side because I'm right-handed. I feel like even though if I'm reeling, actually wait, yeah, hold the rod with my left, let go and use my throttle. That makes sense. So the RVR has a plate here on the side for whatever accessories you want. These plates here are meant for the Anchor Wizard. But for the throttle, I see most people out there buy the, I think it's made by either Yak Attack or made by Torqeedo, and this is a Newport, that you can actually lift this thing up and it's like a two-arm brace here. I just don't see the need for that. Maybe I will in the future, but I'm actually going to hard mount it here. And to make sure I line up the holes right, I got myself a label from my merch. Hopefully y'all can see that there. And I put 2 holes where the holes are for screws underneath here. So all I have to do is slap the sticker on there and I know exactly where to drill those 2 holes. N being north as in forwards and S being south as in backwards. I guess I could have done, you know, stern and bow. Got it stuck on there at least how I think it should be. Got to find a drill bit that fits the weird metric 4 sized screw I had to go to Home Depot to get. And let's see if this is right. Wow. Okie doke. Oh, I almost dropped a screw in the kayak. Okay, hole needs to be bigger. The screws aren't that small. The classic, I've drilled it 3 times and it's still too big. Like a glove, like OJ's glove. Do I need a washer though? I think I need a washer. I hardly know her.
Yeah, we had to. You knew it was coming.
Oh, the washer's too big. See if I got any laying around. Well, the likelihood that I actually need a washer is low, so we're just gonna put them in. Perfect. Out of the way of all the, oh, can y'all see that? Now you can, out of the way of all the screws. Maybe that one is kind of covered up. If so, I will just move this for a second to screw that back in. Whammy. And now we're gonna put all 6 of these screws back in. Look at that, throttle engaged. So I've reached the point where I have to put the Sidekick wheel system on the back here because again, the whole goal of this kayak is to take it places that I may have to wheel through the woods a little bit and then up a creek with the trolling motor. I really want to go on some crazy adventures and get in places that maybe the fish have never seen lures in their entire life. That's the whole goal here. So Sidekick system needs to go on the back rails for the wheels. The problem is I put 2 of these track eyelets for the lifting and lowering of the trolling motor, and I don't think that's actually going to be the right spot for it. So I'm going to unscrew, if I can, these things here and slide them off. I can figure out where the string's gonna go after I get my wheel system on. And I really don't feel like showing you guys how to do this, so we're gonna have a little transformation. And 3, 2, 1. There we go, folks. Sidekick wheel system. Also put my Yak Attack black pack, or whatever they call it, the little box back here, just to make sure that this with the battery in it and my tackle would fit in front of the wheel system. And it does, even on a little river kayak. It's definitely a little bit crammed. We got maybe an inch of space. Actually, you know what? That's all the way up against there. So we have no space back there for that to move. And what, maybe half an inch of space in between there, but it fits, that's all I care about. So next thing on the agenda here is to take these that I believe are made specifically for the Sidekick. Again, all the stuff will be on the screen and linked below. And what they are meant to do is sit on top of the Sidekick to be a rod butt holder. So the butt of the rod can go here and the nose can go all the way towards the front of the kayak. That way I can have a little bit more rod storage. Again, with a river kayak, I want my rods to be just a little more out of the way. So with one of those on and then the second on the other side, cool. Something you might not think about, huh? But in order to power the end of this build, we need our Pro Guide. What is this? 24 VM72, 24, I guess 25.6 volts technically, 72 amp hour, but I gotta get it in the boat somehow. So I've decided to put it inside of my box here. I think it fits. Does it fit? Yes, it does. Whammy. And this here is the power cable with a quick connect clip. Does it focus? There it is, from Newport. So I've got a clip here, and then this runs kind of traditional positive, negative terminals to my battery, but I've got to get it inside the box somehow. And as much as I hate to do this, I'm going to drill a hole because that's the most efficient way to do that. As always, start smaller and go bigger. Realistically, the only cable size I need to worry about is one of these positive or negative terminals here, which this one is not big enough for, but I believe the 1/2 inch is, ooh, and even that, not quite. I may have to bore a little bit kind of as I'm going in and out. Now, how high do I want this? Probably as high as I can without puncturing any, like, you know, cross pieces. Ugh, scary. Okay, there's 1/2 inch. Man, I really don't even know if I can bore that. Oh, but I need bigger, dang it. I guess I'll just bore it. Left and right, baby. There we go, that's bigger. Looks like 1, 2 power cables can easily fit through. Definitely still want to be careful with it, even though it's not metal. It could potentially harm the cable. And once I connect the positives and negatives to the battery, I can actually plug in the quick disconnect from the trolling motor back here. I'm also going to drill a hole in the side here that leads towards the throttle over there, because the throttle needs to be controlled, or it needs to be connected to the trolling motor itself. And this is how long the throttle cable is. So I think just like I'm storing the majority of the battery connection cable in there, I'm also going to store the majority of the throttle connection cable. So it's going to go in the same hole the power does for the battery, and then out the side right here, probably snaking underneath the sidekick, and then right up there. That way it's a 2.5, maybe 3 foot cable, instead of having all of this out and about. I feel like it should be like here. I don't want it to be in the way, probably here or here, I don't know. Again, though, don't know if it's quite big enough. Ooh, not quite. Round and round we go. All right, looks like it's gonna fit. Ooh, no, it doesn't. Still, here we go. Some sandpaper. Can never be too smooth. Oh, that's a bad idea. I just scratched that thing to kingdom come. Feed it through, under there, and whammy, right to the throttle. Let's go. Battery is plugged in. Looks like it has activated on the screen. Moment of truth, baby. Ooh. There it is, baby. Let's go. It's spinning much faster than it looks. Let's go full speed. Ooh, man. That thing is cooking. Still got 25.9 volts. Battery's fully charged, ready for tomorrow. And that is right, folks. The RVR is going in the water for the very first time tomorrow to finish out this kayak build video. I have to make sure everything works in a relatively small pond before I put it to the test in the off-the-grid river smallmouth scenarios. I've got one more trip to Academy for a few last-minute things, but we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And now, boys and girls, we are out here on the water to do our kayak test. I got a camera back here. I got a camera up here. We're gonna angle this one a little bit better for you guys. Actually, I'm gonna go down and forward. How about that? There we go. Gives you guys a good vantage point as to what I've done with this kayak. So everything is, I wouldn't say as it should be, because I'm sure as I fish out of this thing and find things that need addressing, that need changing, I'm gonna make some changes to them. The first of which being, I need under seat storage. I know Bonafide makes something for this seat specifically. That's like an under seat pouch, and I need that for soft plastics, for a simple tackle box, and for my phone and anything other important, batteries, GoPro batteries. I need those right under here because I have my camera situated, as you can see back here, on the dry box. And so I'll keep stuff in there, but if I need to access electronics, that kind of stuff, I need to have those underneath my seat in a place they're not gonna fall out. It doesn't have to be totally waterproof. I don't think I'm gonna tip this thing. If I am in a river situation, I will put stuff that needs to be secure solely in the dry box. But as of now, I need underseat storage. But I've really been happy so far with how this kayak has performed. I just filmed a kayak uncut out of this thing. It is a lot more stable than I thought it would be, and the trolling motor works. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about the foot-controlled steering. You'll see here in a second when I test that out, how it works. It's kind of tough to push. It's a lot more stiff than I thought it was gonna be, but it works, and that's fantastic. So one thing y'all did not see is, although actually now that I look at it, this needs to be, the rope here for lifting and lowering the trolling motor needs to go through this. I'm not sure how it got out of that. Either way, it goes through that loop there. And then here on this side, I have the rod butt holder and a little Kayak paddle holder right here, and it holds the rod tip perfectly for my 4th rod. So I've got 3 rods in the box back there vertical, and I've got 1 here on the side, and I've got plenty of extra room in case I wanted to have 1 here in my crotch area. And so I'd have 5 rods easily in this kayak, which is fantastic. Do you need 5 rods in a kayak? Probably not, but it's nice that I can have them. This thing's a lot more stable than I thought it would be, and so hopefully I can demonstrate this. If I put my kayak here on this handy dandy kayak holder, as you see there, holds the paddle, I can actually turn around and stand on the seat here with my knee and get to my box and get to even the battery connection back there. So as far as stability, the RVR is way more stable than I give it credit for. But the number one thing I like about it is that it is maneuverable. As compared to even the Bonafide SS127 and for sure the Native, this thing is way easier to paddle. It's a lot more simple to get the nose around as I'm fighting a fish. And of course, it has the trolling motor. So I definitely am gonna not use a loop here to lower and raise the trolling motor. I need to get a better system, but trolling motor is down. I'm gonna get myself a little bit straightened out here. Let's kind of make sure my foot controlled steering is straight. We're straight. And now we're gonna go. Oh, there we go. Oh, heck yeah. Now, one thing I've noticed, this is 100% power here. We are using 599 watts. The battery's back up to 24.3 volts. And I mean, I have hardly used it today, but I do want to go back and forth to see, oh, hello, to see what kind of battery drainage I can get. I don't know if that ProGuide battery connects to the ProGuide app, but if it does, I'm going to check that at some point down the line. But like right now, I'm going relatively straight. If I want to turn right, I've really got to mash on my right foot here to get it to turn, which honestly maybe is a good thing, because if it was willy-nilly, super easy to turn, it might not be that good of a system. But I mean, I'm cooking. I'm going 5 miles an hour maybe against the wind. I mean, maybe 4, pretty fast. And it's a little splashy as I go, but that's probably due to the waves. I do worry though with how tough it is to move these cables if they're gonna snap at some point. Like, I don't know if they should be this tough. It's hard to get to move. Maybe they're easier if I'm less power. Now I'm at half power. Oh, okay. Well, still relatively hard, but easier. The right foot is harder than the left foot is. It's a lot harder than I had expected, but it works. I just do worry about the cable snapping. It is interesting though how 50%, I mean, I'm going maybe 2 miles an hour. It doesn't feel all that fast. Like, I feel like I'm gonna use this thing at like 100% all the time. There's also a slight delay between the pushing and the speed change, maybe a 1.5 seconds, 2 second delay. Now we're going downwind. Let's see how fast I can go. Honestly feels about the same, maybe a tiny bit faster. I'm gonna intentionally go in a little bit of grass to see what that does to the propeller here. It's chopping, it chopped it, okay. Who knows if it's still on the propeller, but it chopped through some grass there, good to know. I'm gonna try to turn full speed in case I accidentally do that. Oh, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Much more subtle of a turn than I expected. Oh, one thing that's easier now that I'm realizing is that if I let one foot totally off, then I don't have any pressure on the other one at all, and it's actually a little bit easier to turn the foot controls. So I didn't know, but I was actually adding pressure onto the other side just by having my leg there at all. So if I totally if I totally lift up my foot controlled steering is easier, and now I'm just feeling the grind from the plastic on the metal. I saw somewhere that all I've got to do is put some grease on those connections there on the track system, and they'll be a lot more smooth. But I'm impressed. I'm definitely excited to get this thing in a river, catch some smallmouth, and put this thing where I've never been able to film before. Should be awesome. Now, one thing I forgot to bring with me to get the kayak back on the trailer is my dang wheels. Can I drag it? Yeah? Oh, I hate dragging a kayak. That wasn't too bad. Oh, no. There we go. So much lighter than my native, holy cow. Let me tell you guys, kayak fishing is a lot more work than regular bass boat fishing, but the reward is there. If I can get in bodies of water like this and ones that I'm excited about in this kayak specifically here in the near future, I think we're gonna be able to make some awesome content and catch some really, really memorable fish. That's honestly what I'm after nowadays, is just memorable fish catches. I've caught enough bass. I've caught more bass than I know what to do with over the last few years, but I still love it. I still want to chase that next bite, but what I really want more is to chase the next really cool bite. I'm not talking about like catching it on a glide bait or whatever. I just want to have some awesome jumps, some big explosions, some cool stuff that of course I catch on camera. I am not happy if I catch something cool, a cool fish, a big fish, and the cameras aren't recording. That's no good, I can't have that. Let's get our ratchet straps here. Again, huge thanks to Strapino for sponsoring this video and hopefully more videos to come. I'm just telling you guys, did they pay me to talk about this? Absolutely, but that's the easiest ratchet strap ever. And like I said, I will have all these straps linked down in the video description. If y'all want to see my last kayak build, the one I talked about, the native Titan X, my big honking lake kayak that's got electronics and everything, I will leave that rigging video up here in this corner, and my last kayak uncut. Matter of fact, it'll be replaced up in this corner by the kayak uncut, here to come out in a few days in this kayak. My very first time getting this thing out on the water, on this body of water behind me, and catching quite a few fish. As always, it's a pleasure. My name is Tyler, and we'll see you guys next time right here on TRF.